Hey, we have returned. I am your host. I am Attorney Stephen Leahy, and this is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you for tuning in on this wonderful Sunday evening. Again, we record on Friday, airs on Sunday. For all I know, it could be a meteor shower that's just raining down on everybody, and I'm just wrong again. But chances are it's going to be a beautiful Sunday afternoon. And this is the Mr. Know-It-All segment with our wonderful introduction.
And now, here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right, Mr. Know-It-All. The segment where Attorney Leahy answers those tough questions that are really boggling the mind of you, the listener.
True.
And I'm reading an email here, and I think I'm seeing something. Gordie Howe died? When did he die? That was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Well, you gotta delete that email.
Okay, I'll do that.
It's like Hillary Clinton. Get those emails out.
That's where I got it.
So I got this email. It says I have an IA with the IRS. What's
an IA is an installment agreement.
Okay, so I have an installment agreement with the IRS. They recently sent me a notice of intent to terminate the agreement, but I have made all my payments. How can they terminate the agreement, Attorney Leahy, and how can I not pay you?
That's always the question.
We're not going to answer that.
We solve IRS problems, okay? And many times when we solve the IRS problem, it is a installment agreement. There's a couple different types of installment agreements. They have what they call a partial installment agreement, which is when I'm not going to be able to pay the IRS everything I owe. So people often ask me.
What if I don't want to pay them? Like, can I do an installment agreement and just be like,
Jim, nobody wants to pay him. Nobody wants to pay him. I don't want to pay my taxes every year, but I have to. And
I don't want to pay my electric bill.
But you have to. What happens if you don't pay your electric bill, Jim? They turn off your lights, Jim. Yes, that's correct. And we don't want to live in
I make hand puppets on the wall.
We don't want to live in candles. We want lights. And we want to be able to have a refrigerator. Okay, so what happens when they turn off, when you don't pay your electric bill? They turn off the lights. What happens when you don't pay the IRS? They take all your money. Okay, that's what they do. And you don't want that to happen. It isn't good. There is no candle when they take away your lights. When they take away your money from when the IRS comes after. They take it all. They don't take some. They take it all. When your bank account, they'll empty it out. Okay, so anyway. So when one of the, as I mentioned, there's a partial installment agreement. There's also a full pay installment agreement. And when you get an installment agreement, they give you this agreement. It's an agreement. It's like a contract between you and the IRS. Uh-huh. And the IRS says, okay, this is what we've agreed to. We've agreed that you're going to pay us X amount of money every month, and it's going to be due by the 28th of this month, and you're going to pay it. And then there's what people don't read the agreement. So whenever you get something from the IRS, read it. Now, I explain this to my clients beforehand because we talk on this show a lot about compliance. The IRS is more concerned about you going forward, that you pay and do everything you're supposed to do going forward. And part of the installment agreement is that you're going to file your taxes on time and pay on time from here on out. So while you're in the installment agreement, if you
have to pay, if you miss one payment.
Well, sometimes if you miss one payment, you can still save the installment agreement. But remember, you spend a lot of money to get the installment agreement. It's a lot of process and information and gathering a lot of substantiation, and it's a hard job to get the installment agreement. And if they cancel the installment agreement, well, guess what? You got to do it all over again because they're not going to use the old information that they used to make the first installment agreement. Even if nothing else has changed, they want updated bank statements. They want updated bank pay stubs. Everything's got to be updated. Okay. So you got to redo everything again.
It's like when they made you get the new credit cards that have the chips on it. You got to update it.
You got to update. But that was
they have new IDs too in Illinois that they're brand new.
I did because they have to apply. Because they have to meet federal standards because the federal government came up with IDs because they weren't using them you couldn't get on your plane with a Illinois ID anymore. That was coming, so they had to redo the IDs. But anyway, what happens in here is so people call me and say, I made all my payments. How could they terminate my agreement? Well, the answer is, did you file your tax return? No, but I filed an extension. Well, there you go. You just defaulted on the agreement. You didn't follow what they asked. Did you file your tax return? I did. I owed them about $5,000. Well, now you just canceled the agreement because you agreed that you weren't going to owe them any more money and that you were going to pay them on time, and you didn't pay them on time. So now they're going to terminate the agreement. What happens when they terminate the agreement? They come after you again. They start all the collection activities. They can start levying. Nightmare. Yeah, it is a nightmare. And you just solved it. You thought you solved it, and then you came up with this agreement after a hard road to come up with this agreement, and then you canceled it. So this happens a lot to people. I just had someone come in. They just got an agreement, but they haven't filed their tax returns because they got an extension. It's going to be until October 15th. And October 15th is going to come and they're going to owe money. Well, guess what? That new installment agreement you just got, you've already defaulted on it. You're not going to go anywhere with that agreement. So this is important stuff. So anyway, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
It doesn't really answer my question. It does, but it doesn't, because my question is always how, and just like you, ladies and gentlemen, that are sitting out there, or your friends that you know, gosh, when will this end? When can I really be able to sleep and know that I am debt-free? Well, there's only one way to do that, and it is address the problem. And the only way that you can really do that is by hiring attorney Stephen Lay in Open Tax Resolutions. 312-664-6649 or visit chicagotaxteam.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because after the commercial break, more IRS Radio Hour is coming at you on AM 560. The Answer.